It is the evening of October 30th, 2022, Diwali week. In the town of Morbi, in the Indian state of Gujarat, hundreds of people are crowded onto a narrow suspension bridge stretched across the Machhu river. Families, teenagers, children still in festival clothes. A few young men near the middle are laughing, gripping the cables, rocking the span from side to side for a video. And then the cable lets go. The walkway folds like paper. 400 people are dropped into the dark water below. By the time the rescue boats stop searching, at least 135 are dead. But this bridge did not fail in a moment. It failed across a chain of decisions stretching back years, and the most reckless link in that chain had been forged just 4 days earlier. This is the Morbi Bridge collapse, and this is the chain that pulled it down. Morbi is an industrial town, known for ceramics and clocks. Running through it is the Machhu River, a river this town already feared. In 1979, a dam on the Machhu failed and drowned much of Morbi, killing thousands. This was a place that knew in its bones what water could do. Spanning that river was the town's quiet pride, a pedestrian suspension bridge built in the British colonial era, nearly a century and a half old. Locals called it the Hanging Bridge. It was elegant, historic, and beloved, and it was very, very old. Old things can be safe, but only if the people responsible for them understand what they are responsible for. In 2022, that responsibility changed hands. In March 2022, the Morbi municipality awarded a 15-year contract for the operation, maintenance, and management of the historic bridge. The contract did not go to a structural engineering firm. It went to the Oreva Group, a company best known for manufacturing wall clocks, light bulbs, and electric bikes. At the time, this did not look insane. Oreva was a large, trusted local industrial name. Civic bodies outsourced the upkeep of public assets all the time. Handing a beloved bridge to a respected hometown company felt almost reassuring. But a clock company has no business restoring a 19th century suspension bridge. The moment that contract was signed, the structural safety of a bridge that hundreds would walk across was owned by an organization with no bridge engineering competence whatsoever. That was the first link. Oreva closed the bridge for repairs, but it did not build up a bridge engineering team to do the work. Instead, it subcontracted the renovation to a small firm, and, investigators would later conclude, carried out repairs without consulting any qualified structural engineering expert. Picture the logic from inside the company. We have a contract, we need the bridge open. Let's get a contractor in, get it refurbished, and reopen it for the festival season when footfall and ticket sales will be highest. Reasonable, on a spreadsheet. But it meant that no one with the expertise to ask the most important question, can the original structure actually carry what we're about to do to it, was ever in the room. The second link. This is the technical heart of the disaster. During the renovation, the old walking surface was replaced with a new aluminium decking, heavier than what came before. More weight hanging from the bridge, and the main suspension cables, the original cables, more than 100 years old, were not replaced. After the collapse, the official investigation found corrosion on nearly half the wires within a cable. It found new suspender rods welded onto old ones. So here is the equation Morbi was now living with. A heavier deck plus a festival crowd, all hanging from a corroded, century-old cable that had never been load tested for the new arrangement. A real bridge engineer would have flagged this immediately. There was no real bridge engineer. The third link, and the one that would physically snap. On October 26, 2022, the first day of the Gujarati New Year, the peak of the festival season, Oreva reopened the bridge to the public. It did so without obtaining a fitness certificate. The municipality, the body legally meant to verify that the bridge was safe, later said it had issued no such certificate, and that the company had not even informed it that the bridge was reopening. Think about what that means. After heavy structural modifications to a 140-year-old bridge, not a single independent authority signed off that it could safely bear load. The bridge was open to crowds purely on the say-so of the company that profited from opening it. The fourth link. There was one last safeguard, and it was simple. Limit how many people stand on the bridge at once. When the municipality had managed the bridge, it reportedly capped the number of people on the span at around 20 at a time. Under the new operation, tickets were sold without meaningful crowd control. On the evening of October 30th, an estimated 400 people were on and around the bridge at the same time, far beyond anything that structure was ever meant to hold, made worse by the rocking near the center. Every safeguard that could have broken the chain, engineering review, cable replacement, a fitness certificate, a crowd limit, had been skipped, in sequence, by the same set of choices. The chain was complete. Around 6:30 p.m., it all converged. The corroded main cable, overloaded by the new heavier deck and the weight of hundreds of people, some deliberately swaying the span, gave way. The bridge split near the middle. The aluminium walkway dropped, hurling people into the Machhu River. Some clung to the cables and the fencing in the dark. Many could not. The same river that had drowned Morbi in 1979 took at least 135 more lives that night. Most of the dead were women, children, and teenagers. A 140-year-old bridge had survived more than a century. It lasted 4 days under its new management. A special investigation team filed its findings. It concluded that the collapse resulted from administrative lapses in following proper procedure, combined with technical incompetence, repairing the bridge and opening it to the public without testing it. Before reopening, the report said, the company should have obtained a fitness certificate and informed the municipality. It did neither. 10 people were arrested, including the managing director of the company. They were charged with culpable homicide not amounting to murder. The Gujarat High Court took up the question of compensation for the victims' families, while making clear that money would not erase culpability. The legal process continues. There was no single villain here. There was a chain. A clock company was handed a bridge. The work went to people without the expertise to do it. A heavier deck was bolted onto a rotting cable. The bridge was reopened with no one independent confirming it was safe, and the crowds were let on without limit. Each decision on its own might have seemed survivable. Together, they were a countdown. 18 years before Morbi, in another Indian town, another disaster was assembled out of cost-cutting decisions made by people far away from the danger. But that one did not kill 100 people. It killed thousands. That's the next link in the chain.